So what I'm working on today is a 1/48 scale F-86. This is an old monogram kit. It's identical to the American marked F-86 kit. There's no difference in the parts or in the molds between the kit. The instructions are the same, just the markings that are different. So if you have the old monogram F-86, it's the same. So as you can see, basically I've done some kind of pre-painting work on the cockpit. The paint actually dried a bit darker than what I wanted, so I'll redo that with a lighter gray. The interior of the aircraft should be predominantly light gray. As you can see, I have the instrument panel started, so it's assembled. It just needs to have the gauges painted and some minor additional details put on. The ejection seat as well. Once it gets focused here, as you can see right there, I have the headrest put on. Just need to do some final painting on that, including the seat belts, buckles, rudder pedals, and the ejection handle. You can really get pretty detailed with that stuff just with the kit parts. I'm not doing anything additional with this kit. I'm not going to use a photo etch detail set or any resin parts. I like to use detail parts like that, but with this one, it's a decent kit, so I'm not going to do that. What's interesting about this kit is I actually started working on this when I was in junior high school, those many years ago, and as you can see, some of the pieces there are painted interior green. Well, when I was in high school and junior high school, I wasn't super into following the directions and instructions that came with the kit, so I had a tendency to paint things just whatever I thought they would look good as. So unfortunately, I will have to repaint those pieces as the air brake wells and gear wells and things like that are not supposed to be interior green, but I will get to that as time comes. So here we have the wing section assembled, and I know it's a little difficult to see, but the seams actually are not too terrible on this. There's not a lot of gaps in them. I like that it comes with positionable flaps. The way the kit instructions tell you, you don't glue the flaps in position, so you should be able to, actuate them, if you will, once the model is complete. I don't like things like that. I like things to be static and not moving, with the exception being propellers on, propeller-driven aircraft. Sometimes I'll leave those unglued, but I just find that the hinges typically don't work super well, and with this kit, there's no exception to that. The pins that go into the sockets aren't long enough to keep it secure, so I go ahead and glue them on. As you can see, I kind of build in stages, so I'll do pre-painting on major components while I'm doing some of the detail pieces and just kind of go from there. Some of the basic things that I use while I'm building, as you can see, I kind of have my collection of stuff over here. Paint thinner of various kinds. I have a ton of different paint brushes for different situations. That's one of my favorite substances to use while building models right there. That's Future Floor Shine. It works amazing for good gloss coats. It also makes clear parts crystal clear, repairs scratches in clear parts, things like that. And then I have plastic cement right there. I always keep a couple bottles of it on hand. This is my favorite glue. I also have the traditional, Testors tube glue as well. Sometimes that works for different applications, but mostly I prefer this. And we'll cover later on how to properly use that type of glue. And then I also have a good bottle of gelled super glue right here. You just never know. Some things just aren't going to stick right, or really, really small parts. Just a small little dab of that gelled super glue works really well to keep them in position and to get them to set quickly so they don't fall over. But you have to be really careful using super glue because as it dries, the super glue itself, the fumes that come off of it will stick to fingerprints, oils, things like that, and they make kind of a permanent haze on parts that's very difficult to get off. And then also with super glue, if you make a mistake, you can't really correct it, so just be sparing when you use super glue. So once again, really, really nice kit. I'm having a lot of fun working on it. I use primarily Model Master paints and, of course, Model Master and Testors. I don't really use Humbrol a whole lot just because, I've always used Model Master, so I just kind of stick with what I'm familiar with. But yeah, so that's basically the setup I've got, and of course I'm watching an old Pink Panther movie right now. This unfortunately is not Peter Sellers, so it's not the greatest one out there, but yeah, so that's what I'm working on for this weekend. If you've ever built the monogram F-86 kit in 48 scale of any kind, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know how it went. If you have any questions or need some tips, just let me know. Thanks.